Good evening, everyone. The meeting will come to order. So, Madam Clerk, would you please read the adequate notice of compliance statement?
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by the City Clerk's office in preparation of the Council Annual Meeting Notice dated December 17, 2025, which was properly distributed and posted per statutory requirements. Please be advised that the fire exits are to my right, your left, and at the back of the room. The city has a listening system to assist the hearing impaired. If anyone needs hearing assistance, please obtain it at the dais and return it thereafter.
Okay, thank you. May we have the roll call?
Mr. Boyer?
Present.
Mr. Casafoli?
Here.
Ms. Kalmanson?
Here.
Ms. Landman?
Here.
Ms. Laceracina?
Here.
Mr. Pulaski?
Here.
President Toth.
Here. Now for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ms. Landman, remind me who is...
Sarah DeRabio.
Would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, would you please read the explanatory note regarding closed session and the explanatory note regarding hearings and comments?
A closed session meeting, as authorized by state statute, was announced and held prior to the start of this meeting, and the known items for discussion were listed on the published closed session agenda. Please be advised that council meetings are broadcast live on Comcast channels 34 and 36 and Verizon Channel 30, and rebroadcast on Thursdays and Saturdays on HTTV on Comcast 36 and Verizon 33. When invited to speak, please come to the lectern, clearly state your name and address, spell your last name, and speak into the podium microphone so that your comments can be understood by all and properly recorded. Whenever an audience or council member reads from a prepared statement, please give or email a copy to the City Clerk's office at cityclerk@cityofsummit.org. To help facilitate an orderly meeting and to permit all to be heard, please limit your comments to no more than 3 minutes in length. Unless you are using an electronic device to follow the meeting agenda or need it for professional emergency contact purposes, please turn it off. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to expand a bit on the city clerk's note about hearing and comments. This will facilitate a smoother process, particularly for those watching remotely. And if you're seated in the first 2 rows, please remain silent. Anything you say will be picked up by the microphones and make it very hard for those watching at home to hear. The 3-minute limit on public comments corresponds to a bit less than 1 printed page. If you're leaving written remarks, please put your name on them and place them in the box near the lectern when you are done. That's right in front of our city housing attorney, Nancy Holm. With that, let's move on to the city's business. We do not have any minutes yet to approve, so we can go straight to the reports. Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. First, I'd like to begin by recognizing our incredible DPW crews who once again battled another snowstorm last week. They worked long hours in tough conditions to clear our streets and help our residents and businesses get back to normal. We're very fortunate to have such a dedicated team, so thank you to DPW for everything you do. I also want to share an opportunity for our volunteer EMS squad. They're hosting a free community CPR tutorial on March 11th. It's an hour and a half of your time, but it could one day help you save a life. Pre-registration is required, so please visit their social media page or email them to reserve a spot. Next Monday, March 9th, we will hold our 3rd annual Women's History Month event at the Summit Community Center from 12:30 to 3:30. The event begins with a luncheon and includes activities led by local business owners and entrepreneurs. We encourage residents to attend and bring a photo of a woman who has inspired them to share on our wall of inspiration. And finally, our spring activities kick off this month with the Easter egg hunt on Saturday, March 28th on the Village Green. And in recognition of Summit's 250th anniversary, or the country's 250th anniversary, we're also offering a basket weaving class on Monday, March 30th to create your own Easter baskets. You can find registration information for those events and more at summitcommunityprograms.com. Hope to see you at the upcoming events. Thank you.
Thank you. And now on to Tammy Baldwin for the City Administrator's Report. Administrator Baldwin.
Thank you, Council President. Good evening, everyone. I have a couple of announcements. The first is our summer internship program. It is back for 2026, and we're accepting applications now through March 27th. This year's program will be held from June 1st through June 26th, with interns required to work 24 hours a week, Monday through Thursday, for 4 weeks. These positions are paid. The rate is $16 per hour, which we are very happy to be able to continue to offer to our interns. The program is open to Summit residents. We are seeking college students majoring in political science, public administration, human resources management, finance, or communications. We encourage you to apply, as it's an exciting opportunity to work closely with city staff members and be directly involved in several important municipal projects. Again, the application deadline is March 27th, and you can apply online at cityofsummit.org/internship. A reminder about the Hometown Heroes program. The application deadline for that program is March 31st. This will be the 9th year for this awesome program that displays banners with the names, images, and dates of service of active military veterans on city streets from mid-May through mid-August. Please visit our website at cityofsummit.org/hometown heroes to access the application and additional program details. And lastly, the Summit Free Market March events will be held on Saturday, March 14th from 8 to 3, and Friday, March 27th from 12 to 2 at the transfer station. Summit residents with a parking disposal permit can attend and browse donated items and take what they want for free and drop off items. Please review the donation guidelines on our website at cityofsummit.org/free market before bringing the items to donate. And that completes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, City Administrator. And my president's report will be fairly brief because the mayor has already called out the DPW for the awesome work they did last week, excuse me. And once we were dug out, the mayor and members of council held 2 listening sessions at the community center. And these are just a great way to talk face-to-face between council and residents. Sometimes residents even get an immediate answer to their questions. Residents expressed some concerns about the affordable housing plan last week, but we also discussed snow clearance, parking, infrastructure. We'll be holding more of these listening sessions as the year progresses, so please join us when you're able. Also, in the past couple of meetings, residents have asked how many total housing units, both affordable and at market rate, are going to be built as a result of the Round 4 plan we're considering this evening. There is no guarantee, but the city land use manager and I put our heads together and came up with about 528 new units of housing in the next 10 years. And to put that number in context, it's about 8% of Summit's current housing stock. We're going to put that schedule up on the city website. We're going to break it out by address. We're going to label the elementary schools that each address is associated with, so you'll have a better sense, and stay tuned for that. But let us move on to our historical minute. Councilmember Landman.
Thank you, Council President. I'd like to invite Sarah DeRabio to come to the podium to present the historical minute. Sarah is a senior at Summit High School and a leader of the Students Helping Students Club, which is a mental health awareness group at the high school and a tremendous asset for our residents and students. Sarah, over to you.
Good evening. My name is Sarah DeRobio. I am a senior at Summit High School and one of the leaders of our Students Helping Students Club at the high school, a mental health awareness group dedicated to
Speak into the area.
Good? Okay. Dedicated to outreach and support for our high schoolers. I'm here to talk to you about Summit's longstanding reputation for being proactive when it comes to mental health. Thank you so much for inviting me to speak tonight. Summit's strides in mental health began with community organizing and building its own local safety nets. The Overlook Medical Center provided a clinical anchor for Summit, ensuring that Summit residents had immediate local access to psychiatric care. Founded in 1916, the Overlook Auxiliary has raised over $21 million for hospital upgrades, focusing heavily on patient comfort and behavioral health. For decades, organizations like Sage Elder Care, founded in 1954, recorded that mental health was intrinsic to aging well, providing early support for cognitive health and caregiver stress. The Connection and YMCA evolved from fitness centers into wellness centers, offering support groups and stress reduction workshops long before they were mainstream. In the last decade, Summit accelerated its efforts to meeting rising levels of anxiety and depression. Community events aiming to stomp out the stigma, normalize the conversation around mental health, making a point of civic pride rather than a private hurdle. Summit Public Schools has historically been at the forefront of the whole child approach. Our district has recognized early on that academic excellence for students is impossible without emotional stability. The Summit Educational Foundation has funded dozens of grants specifically for mental health initiatives, from mindfulness corners in elementary schools to district-wide parent education series on social media. In our schools, student-led clubs such as the Students Helping Students, or the SHS Club for short, have played a meaningful role in shifting school culture and reshaping how we talk about mental health. Founded in 2018, the SHS Club was created to empower students to advocate for their own mental health needs while also working to destigmatize mental health challenges within our school community. The club promotes mindfulness and holistic support while providing a safe, non-judgmental space for peer-to-peer conversation. Student leaders who have been carefully selected due to their passion for mental health awareness and inclusivity organize wellness and mindfulness initiatives throughout the school community. Our memorable and look-forward activities throughout the year include our Chat and Choose, our Friendsgiving lunch, and our butterfly release ceremony that we host at the end of the year. And of course, we have occasional slime making days that a lot of students look forward to. Over the years, the SHS Club has benefited from the guidance of dedicated staff advisors, including founder Mrs. Amy Herber and school counselors Ms. Milano and Ms. Galasso. Maintaining leadership within the counseling department has strengthened the club by providing additional mental health support and education for our students. As you've heard tonight, our community's history includes a robust public infrastructure of support in both civic and educational sectors. By fostering open dialogue and promoting understanding, we can help reduce the stigma and encourage people to prioritize their well-being in Summit. Ultimately, our town's legacy will be defined by the understanding that a community is only as strong as our collective well-being. Thank you.
Thank you. And Chief Peters, I believe you have a presentation.
Thank you. Through you, Council President. We're going to skip over Quiet Text Officer of the Year, just because we weren't sure how long the zoning meeting would go, but I do have a recognition. I'd like to take a moment to recognize the distinguished service of our recently departed Summit Municipal Prosecutor, Michael Mitzner. Throughout his 25-plus year tenure with the City of Summit, Mr. Mitzner demonstrated an unwavering commitment to justice, professionalism, and the fair application of the law. His work required not only a deep understanding of the legal system, but also the judgment, integrity, and dedication necessary to ensure that every matter brought before the court was handled with care, respect, and a strong sense of responsibility to the community. Over the years, Mr. Mitzner worked closely with our officers, court staff, municipal officials, consistently providing sound legal guidance and helping to uphold the high standards expected of our justice system. His steady presence, attention to detail, and commitment to public service have made a lasting impact on the Summit Police Department and the broader Summit community. On behalf of the Summit Police Department, the City of Summit, it's my honor to present Michael Mitzner with a certificate of appreciation in recognition of his years of dedicated service, professionalism, and commitment to the administration of justice. We thank him for his contributions and wish him the very best in his well-earned retirement from the city. Unfortunately, Mr. Mitzner could not be here tonight to receive this honor. However, we have been in touch, and we'll make sure he receives his parting gifts as well as his certificate. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. This next item is a bit of a surprise. It's not on the agenda, but on behalf of everybody on the dais, the mayor has a proclamation, and Rosie, you may want to join her at the lectern.
Oh. My goodness.
Surprise. It's not often we get to surprise you, so this is fun. Whereas the City of Summit is proud to recognize individuals whose dedication, integrity, and commitment strengthen our community. And whereas Rosalia Licatese, City Clerk of the City of Summit, has faithfully served the City of Summit for 35 years. And whereas Clerk Licatese has led the office of the city clerk for the past 11 years, engaging with and connecting community members to staff and supporting the work of the elected officials. And whereas, under Clerk Licatese's leadership, the office of the city clerk operates with excellence, enriched by her institutional knowledge and genuine passion for her work. And whereas Clerk Licatese has ensured transparency, upheld the integrity of municipal records, safeguarded democratic processes, and whereas Clerk Licatese continues to use her experience by guiding elected officials and citizens alike with diligence and respect, and whereas, beyond the responsibilities of the office, Clerk Licatese has exemplified the highest standards of public service, serving as a trusted advisor, colleague, and friend to generations of community members. And whereas the City of Summit is deeply grateful for her 35 years of loyal and distinguished service to the community, now, therefore, be it resolved that we honor Ms. Licatese's milestone achievement of service to the City of Summit and thank her for her dedication to our community. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Elizabeth Fagan, encourage all members of the community to join us in celebrating this remarkable milestone and in expressing gratitude for a career devoted to excellence in public service. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Summit to be affixed this 3rd day of March in the year 2026.
Thank you. I'm just stunned. I'm not usually without words, but thank you all so much. You know, I grew up in this town. I love this town dearly, and I just love being the clerk in Summit. And I hope I make you all proud. That's all. Come on, flowers too. Thank you. Thank you. I know, I'll get back to work.
We are going to make you work this evening.
Okay.
Okay, now we move on to ordinances for hearing. Madam Clerk, would you please read ordinance 26-3366?
An ordinance authorizing the permanent closure of the Chestnut Lot.
Councilmember Calvinson.
Thank you, Council President. This is ordinance ID 263366, and it authorizes the permanent closure of the Chestnut parking lot. The firehouse property has been sold, and the Chestnut parking lot is part of that property. Once the sale is finalized, the city will no longer own this property and therefore cannot use it for permit parking. I move to open the hearing on this ordinance.
Second.
Okay, do we have any comments from members of the public? Do we have any comments from members of council? Okay, I'm going to close the hearing on this ordinance. Madam Clerk, would you please read ordinance 26-3367?
An ordinance amending the code of the City of Summit to create Chapter 9 entitled Registration and Maintenance of Vacant, Abandoned, and Foreclosed Properties.
Thank you. Councilmember Crisafulli.
Thank you, Council President. Ordinance 26-3367 is part of Summit's 2026 amended Housing Element and Fair Share Plan, which I will hereafter call the Fair Share Plan. This ordinance would establish a framework to regulate foreclosed properties and properties deemed vacant and abandoned to promote the public safety and general welfare and encourage the productive use of land in the City of Summit. I move to open the hearing on this ordinance.
Okay, do we have any residents who would like to speak to this ordinance?
I second the.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Landman. I'm so sorry. Are there any residents who would like to make a comment? Any members of the public? Any members of council would like to make a comment?
Council President.
Yes.
Yeah, I just, first of all, want to thank Augusto. I know Augusto worked so hard on this all throughout last year. And this is a great plan. It follows with our affordable housing plan. A single abandoned home, as you all know, broken windows theory, right? We need to do something with these properties. And we can't allow these properties to be stuck in foreclosure to become neighborhood blights. So this ordinance helps prevent that. And hopefully some of these we can turn into some more affordable housing. So I'm in support of this ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? No. I can only second Councilmember Boyer's comments about how hard our land use professional has been working. He's been shooting out these ordinances for the past several weeks, and I've been making him nuts by proofreading them. I'm going to close the hearing on this ordinance. Madam Clerk, would you please read Ordinance 26-3368?
An ordinance of the City of Summit, County of Union, New Jersey, repealing Chapter 8, Affordable Housing, in its entirety, and repealing and replacing Chapter 35, Part 4, Article 17 through 19, Affordable Housing.
Thank you. Councilmember Crisafulli.
Thank you, Council President. Ordinance 26-3368 is required as part of Summit's Fair Share Plan. This ordinance would update the citywide regulations and standards that govern the development of very low, and moderate income affordable units that may be approved by the city or the city planning board, and is designed to regulate these units in a manner consistent with applicable laws and regulations. I move to open this hearing. I move to open the hearing on this ordinance.
Second.
Thank you. Do we have comments from members of the audience? No. Comments from members of council? Okay, I will just note that the planning board earlier this evening found that this was not inconsistent with the master plan, and I'll close the hearing on this ordinance. Madam Clerk, let's move on to 26-3369, if you would please read that one.
Ordinance of the City of Summit, County of Union, New Jersey, amending Chapter 35, Development Regulations by amending the existing OL1 and OL4 overlay zones, creating new OL2A and OL2B overlay zones to replace the existing OL2 zone, and amending overlay zones OL1 through OL6 to increase the required minimum affordable housing set-asides to 20% to address a portion of the city's affordable housing obligations.
Thank you. Councilmember Crisafulli.
Thank you, Council President. Ordinance 26-3369 is also required as part of Summit's Fair Share Plan. This ordinance would amend existing overlay zones and create new ones to address a portion of the city's affordable housing obligations. The areas include the Salerno Dwayne dealership on Broad Street, the area around Broad, Summit, and Industrial Place, and an office building at 25 DeForest Avenue, among others, allowing new residences within the footprint of that office building. Earlier this evening, the planning board found that this ordinance was not inconsistent with the master plan. I move to open the hearing on this ordinance.
Second.
Do we have comments from anybody in the audience?
I'd like some clarification. Diego Hoyk, Argyle Court.
Thank
Sorry.
you, sir.
I'd like some clarification as to these overlay zones. It's my impression that when in June the city filed a plan, they were included as part of a round 4 plan, and that since then they had to be added to our round 3. They could not be counted to our round 4. And I would like to understand, why did we include them in round 4 in June, and why are they now part of the round 3 settlement? Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments from members of the audience? No. Do we have any comments, questions from members of council? Yes, Councilmember Pulowski.
Are our professionals going to answer?
Yes, I just wanted to be sure that we didn't have other questions from council. No? Nancy, Tom, you want to take a crack at it?
I will do my best, and I understand the question. I'm Tom Behrens with the firm Burgess Associates. I'm a planner. We represent the city as its affordable housing planner, help the city prepare its housing element fair share plan that was alluded to a moment earlier. So as was noted, these overlay zones, and the city has 7 to be clear, were components of the city's 3rd round compliance process. We are now in the 4th round, so where the plan that was adopted in June did identify these overlay zones, 4 are being amended in accordance with the city's mediation agreement with Fair Share Housing Center, and they're being amended in different ways. And I'll step back and say that they're all being amended such that they will require a minimum 20% affordable housing requirement. But again, beginning with overlay zone 1, which is the Salerno Duane Auto Dealership on Broad Street, the only zoning change that is being proposed is an increase in density up to 30 units per acre. And again, that was a component of the mediation agreement with Fair Share Housing Center. Pertaining to overlay zone 2, that references the area on Broad Street, Summit Ave, and Industrial Place, which will essentially be divided into 2 different sub-districts almost, where the corner assemblage, which is the Summit Forge Auto Body, the Conoco Gas Station, and TD Bank properties, would have a higher development or zoning framework that would allow for up to 4 stories and 30 units per acre, consistent with the city's existing MBC zone. And the properties that flank that site would have a lower density of 15 units per acre as they facilitate a transition into adjacent residential properties. The OL4 zone basically encompasses the CRBD, and the only zone change there would be to increase the density up to 20 units per acre. And then finally, we have the OL5 zone, which is 25 DeForest Avenue, which modifies that zone such that if any residential development occurs, it must happen within the footprint of the existing office building, where that building could be converted or a new residential building could be developed in place, again, of that specific office building. So where originally in June, we didn't think we had to necessarily modify these, the 4th round legislation requires that there be some form of a look back and you see what zones were working, what should be modified. So there were 3 overlay zones that were not impacted at all. And it was just these 4 overlay zones that are being amended in the manner that I just described. And again, it's in accordance with the city settlement agreement with Fair Share Housing Center.
Okay.
And also, just to clarify, the round 3 and prior round number was adjusted down due to lack of vacant land, which is why the overlay zones were added in the first place. Because if anyone was here for the planning board meeting, when you adjust your number downward, that the remainder does not go away. You just have to find mechanisms that will help as the city develops and redevelops, that you capture affordable housing. So anything that was agreed to in round 3 has to remain, because there is no vacant land analysis or adjustment now for the round 4 obligation. It remains in the round 3 just as it was with these amendments that Tom just described. So hopefully that clarifies it and doesn't make it more confusing. So.
Thank you. Then we'll close the hearing on that. Madam Clerk, can we move on to Ordinance 263370?
Ordinance of the City of Summit, County of Union, New Jersey, amending Chapter 35 Development Regulations by creating a new AH1 Affordable Housing 1 zone to facilitate mixed-use development of Block 4008, Lots 8, 9, and 11.
Thank you. Councilmember Crisafulli.
Thank you, Council President. Ordinance 26-3370 is required as part of Summit's Fair Share Plan. This ordinance would create a new zone for affordable housing to facilitate Harmon Holdings' mixed-use development around Denman Place and Broad Street. Earlier this evening, the Planning Board determined this ordinance is not inconsistent with the master plan. I move to open the hearing on this ordinance.
Second.
Thank you. Do we have any comments from members of the audience? Do we have any comments from members of council? Okay, I'm going to close the hearing on this one. Madam Clerk, would you please read the ordinance 263371?
Ordinance of the City of Summit, County of Union, New Jersey, amending Chapter 35 Development Regulations by creating a new AH2 Affordable Housing 2 zone to facilitate 100% affordable senior housing development on Block 1911, Lot 5.
Thank you. Councilmember Christofouli.
Thank you, Council President. Ordinance 26-3371 is also required as part of Summit's Fair Share Plan and would create a new affordable housing zone to facilitate 100% affordable senior housing development on the Methodist Church property on DeForest Avenue, converting a chapel to 12 senior affordable units. The majority of the exterior will be preserved. Earlier this evening, the Planning Board determined this ordinance is not inconsistent with the master plan. I move to open the hearing on this ordinance.
Second.
Do we have any comments from members of the audience? Do we have any comments from members of council? Okay, I'll close the hearing on this ordinance. Moving right along, Madam Clerk, would you please read ordinance 263372?
Ordinance of the City of Summit, County of Union, New Jersey, amending Chapter 35 Development Regulations by creating new AH3A and AH3B affordable housing zones to facilitate inclusionary development on Block 102, Lot 1, and Block 101, Lot 3.
Thank you. Councilmember Christofouli.
Thank you, Council President. Ordinance 26-3372 is required as part of Summit's Fair Share Plan and would create new affordable housing zones to facilitate inclusionary development at 180 and 190 River Road. And according to a comment we received in the Planning Board, I also think in terms of street addresses, not blocks and lot numbers. So I will try to use the actual reference point that we as residents use. Earlier this evening, the Planning Board determined this ordinance is not inconsistent with the master plan. I move to open the hearing on this ordinance.
Second.
Thank you. Do we have any comments from members of the audience? Do we have any comments from members of council? Okay, I'm going to close the hearing on this ordinance. We're almost there, Madam Clerk. Would you please read ordinance 263373?
Ordinance of the City of Summit, County of Union, New Jersey, amending Chapter 35 Development Regulations by creating a new TH3 Townhouse 3 zone to promote inclusionary townhouse development on Block 3401, lots 7 through 20.
Councilmember Christofouli.
Thank you very much, Council President. Ordinance 26-3373 is required as part of Summit's Fair Share Plan and would create a new zone to promote inclusionary townhouse development along the south side of Franklin Place. Earlier this evening, the Planning Board determined this ordinance is not inconsistent with the master plan. I move to open the hearing on this ordinance.
Second.
Thank you. Do we have any comments from members of the audience? Please come forward. Tell us who you are, where you live.
My name is Joseph Riella. I live at 10 Kenneth Court in Summit. I own the property, which is Block 3401, Lot 20, commonly known as 8 Franklin Place. So I'm the last lot. It was up on the board before. Two comments. One comment is I understand I have, believe, the largest lot that's available, and I'm 1.8 acres or so. And I understand the board has decided on 2-acre minimum. It seems kind of strange that there are no 2-acre lots there unless they get combined. The other problem I have is that on February 19th, I received a registered letter, and from speaking from the earlier meeting, I understand this could indeed even pass tonight. I didn't have a chance to speak with my attorney about it. It's only been 12 days. I haven't even had this for 12 days. It came, I believe, the day after. I don't believe I had enough time to look at it, research it, have my attorney look at it. I don't think it should pass tonight because I've only had 12 days. I think I should be allotted more time, and again, I think it's quite curious that it's a 2-acre minimum, while I hold the largest lot, which is 1.8. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other comments from members of the public? Yes.
I'm Inge Kinget. I live at 11 Franklin Place.
Mhm.
Yeah, we have concerns about this event, about this issue. But I also want to address this issue because his lot is number 20. We were here in 2023, which is not that long ago, and we opposed lot number 19 to be built on with a two housing issue that they were planning to build, and it got opposed by this same board, probably different members, but almost the same board, and you totally voted unanimously against it. And now we're 3 years later, and now you're not only, because you made it an R10 zone for those lots, and today you're making it into townhouse zoning. So where's the common sense? So Franklin Place, the issue with Franklin Place that we're having, it is close to town, and I totally understand the affordable housing. I totally am 100% for that, resolving that issue. But it's a very narrow street. There's lots of traffic already. And today you're going to you're going to decide on the change of the zoning, but it might not even be for affordable housing. There is anyone can come in and just build on it. I find it a little, I don't know, I'm quite upset about the way you went about this. We got the notice, it's dated February 18th. I got it in the mail on February 22nd. Today is March 3rd, and you're going to decide on this? Like we not all the neighbors are even aware of this. You kind of, I don't know. And yeah, and then you call it I don't know. It's been very unpleasant the way this has been handled. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments?
Hi, Regina Calcagno, 21 Franklin Place. Coming in a little late on this, but just asking if traffic studies have been done there to add more density there would be probably a huge mistake considering that bend from Franklin to Hobart, and it's already a major cut through, and then the bend, there's going to be an accident there very soon. It's a crazy bend, and people come flying down it, and if there haven't been any traffic studies done, there should be.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, Nancy Amster Cool, 16 Ruthven Place. One of the things I wanted to point out that the map you provided does not even indicate or show where the zone is. So this map is kind of irrelevant to the information that we are supposed to be being served. The other thing is that I feel like you are making a disproportionate amount of affordable housing in our neck of the woods. I agree. I am all about affordable housing. I think it's important to raise everybody up. But I think you are absolutely putting a disproportionate amount of, if you are replicating the complex that is already in our neighborhood to replicate it on the other side, that is disproportionate and not really equitable to our neighborhood. So this seems not appropriate for a legal document to not include the actual map. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Yes.
Hi, Victoria Weeks, 15 Franklin Place. I grew up on Franklin Place, and I'm looking to raise my family on Franklin Place. I've seen how much Summit has grown over 20 years and how that road was not as busy to now where it is a cut through. We have students going to an after-school program. There's nothing being done for them running across the street while people are coming 50 miles an hour down and hitting the brick wall. So adding more units seems concerning because you're adding at least 70 more cars on that. And then the, sorry, one second. You mentioned something about if the plan doesn't go through by 2028, I believe June 2028, what does that look like? Is this all collectively a plan? And then what does that look like? Is the judge still involved in the 2028 if it doesn't go through, the 14 units do not get through? Does the judge still have a say in possibly rezoning the Townhome 3? And you said something about the school systems that you're going to get into later. Is there a plan for adding 528 units throughout the town and adding a lot more people? What are we going to do with the school system and the people that are coming in, if there's a plan or not? Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have other comments from members of the audience? Yes.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tanya Chardnings. I live at 38 Franklin Place. My uncle owns the house. He has owned the house for 50 years. He built that house with my father. My question is, he lives at 38, which abuts Timmy's, I don't know, 34. That property has been his, well, Ziggy's, for the last 50 years. He wants to will it, and we're to inherit it. He doesn't want to give it up. Since I've lived there for the last 6 years, I agree with everyone with the traffic. It's unsafe. That area is not well monitored at all. There are people driving down that road, cut-through roads. I have a 70-pound Labradoodle that is licensed. Just let you know. No, I don't want to hear anything. When I walk them just across the street to go at Ruthaven, people are flying down that road. They're flying through Franklin Place. Directly across, we have a school. Nobody monitors those children. There's no stop signs in front of that school. There's only a stop sign at Ruthaven. That's it. I just don't think it's fair to all of the residents on that street. It's a big exposure. It's dangerous. And what about all the little kids that walk around? What about all the people that just moved into those neighborhoods? And now, like the other female said, you're going to add on how many units? Does anybody know? On Franklin Place? How many units? Can that street and that town and that intersection handle that? That is the biggest question. We care about Summit. You have to care about us. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have other? Yes.
Hi, my name is Lauren Woods. I live on 12 Hobart, just around the bend. That has been alluded to by many members here. There have been multiple collisions in the fence of that woman's property. She has had to put up large metal concrete stanchions to prevent cars from coming around the bend and plowing into her front yard. I pull out of my driveway every day. I'm just 2 houses off the corner with my heart beating because I don't have a car that beeps and tells me cars are coming around. And they come very rapidly and pulling out of my driveway. And my neighbors who are on the corner of Hobart and Franklin have an even bigger problem. I think the volume of traffic can't even sustain the amount of cars going back and forth, up and down. Hospital uses that as a thorough-through, people coming off of Route 24. And I really have a lot of concerns about that kind of density in such a congested area. where there is a lot of activity. It is not a quiet section of the neighborhood. It's a very robust and active part of the neighborhood.
Thank you. Anybody else? Do we have comments, questions from members of council? No? Do our you were taking notes? There anything you're prepared to say?
I will address the question about 2028. I believe I'm sorry, the woman that spoke, it's 2030 is the midpoint review, and that is where the Franklin Place development will be reevaluated according to our settlement agreement with Fair Share Housing Center. So at that point, if it has not developed in a certain way, someone could object to that part of our plan, and either the city can elect to keep it there, or it can elect to change it at the midpoint review. I want to stress that. So, do you have planning things you want to?
Yeah, I could address some of the site-specific and development questions. And before I get into the actual zoning, one thing that became pretty clear at the planning board discussion for this ordinance was that there may be some legitimate traffic concerns independent of the site being developed. And I think that's something maybe the council will want to take into consideration, whether there might be any traffic calming measures that could be implemented, and that might be forwarded to the engineering department. So I think that could be done whether or not this site ever gets developed or this ordinance passes. So, and hopefully that would be a step toward maybe alleviating some of those concerns. Again, that might not necessarily be site or development specific. So I would note that, well, I'll go one at a time to try to address the individual residents' concerns, which I understand. The one question pertained to the minimum lot area requirement. So planning and zoning, the way it works is, it looks at what's there, but it's also planning for the future, right? So the intent of the zone is to encourage the assemblage of those lots, which are otherwise developed with different uses sort of in a piecemeal fashion, such that you would need a 2-acre minimum in order to develop in accordance with this new zoning. So I understand there may be cases where an applicant might not meet that 2-acre threshold, and they do have options. It doesn't mean you can't do anything with your land. You would still be able to go to the Zoning Board of Adjustment for either a townhouse development or another type of development, whether it's a single-family home or otherwise. You could still go to the Planning Board with the townhouse proposal for which might require C variance from the lot area requirement. But again, could be developed as of right if it meets the 2-acre minimum threshold. That is sort of the intent. I would note that of the 14 or so parcels, there are few, if any, that actually meet the existing R5 zone requirements. And just to be clear, the R5 zone allows single and two-family homes, so there's a number of existing industrial, commercial, multifamily houses, as well as vacant properties that exist in that mix of parcels. So again, the existing zoning in a large part doesn't actually reflect what is developed there today. So the idea is that the site over time could be developed in a cohesive manner, again, 2 acres at a time, presumably, and that it would produce some number of affordable units. And just to be clear, the zoning doesn't require all affordable units. It says that at least 20% have to be affordable. So you'd have 4 market rate units and 1 affordable in any type of project. So for that perspective, you would expect that the site would be designed like other townhouse developments throughout Summit as far as materials. It would have similar height requirements to the existing R5 zone. There's a front yard setback that's the same as the R5 zone. So the actual townhouse development reflects the existing R5 zone, except that it allows attached single-family housing. That's what townhouse development's referred to. So as opposed to having detached single-family housing, this would be attached. And when we talk about the number of units that could be developed there, I think it's important to note that the R5 zone already allows 5,000 square foot lots. So when you divide 5,000 square feet by an acre, which is 43,560 square feet, you're almost at 9 units per acre. You're at 8 units per acre and change. This ordinance would only allow up to 10 units per acre. So I would just note that that's not, from my perspective, a substantial increase, and that a lot of the properties there are already developed in some manner. Again, some residential, some non-residential, with some truck traffic. So as that area would get developed over time, I would just anticipate, while I'm not a traffic engineer, that it would not be overwhelmed from a traffic perspective if this site were to be developed in accordance with the townhouse ordinance. Just moving along the different comments, there's reference to a prior zoning board application. I'm familiar with that application. I would note that there are some site-specific issues with that, in particular that it was a long, narrow lot, and that simply didn't fit in with the configuration of the zoning at that time. And that, again, if properties were developed in accordance with this new ordinance framework, there would be substantial buffering, there would be ample setbacks, coverage requirements, and on-site parking that would be tucked away in the rear of the property. So I think the issue with the proposal on Lot 19 was that it was perceived to be shoehorning too much in, where, again, this would have generous setbacks and intended to fit the neighborhood, frankly. Bear with me while I move along. You addressed the compliance deadlines. And we addressed traffic. So I think I hit on most of the questions from my perspective. So I hope that's satisfactory.
Okay. Thank you. And the only thing I'll add is we said at the last meeting, council will be putting together a task force with representatives from all of the most affected neighborhoods in town that will be looking at things like traffic, infrastructure, schools, to provide input on how to implement all of this. So there will be plenty of opportunities for voices to be heard. Yes, Mayor?
Yeah. I think somebody brought up plans for new students in the school system, and I just want to make sure that everybody here understands that this is a plan to sort of facilitate the construction of affordable housing, right? It gives developers the ability to come and do that. That doesn't mean it's going to happen tomorrow, and that doesn't mean that there are going to be 3,000 new children in our schools overnight, okay? So that I just want everybody to be clear on that. Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
Well, I would add to that, right? So it's a state requirement, right? It's not Summit saying we need more housing, right? And we came up with a plan that tried to manage the requirements in a way where we achieve compliance, but also minimize impacts to the community. So if we were to satisfy the obligation that the state gave the city, which was 345 new affordable units just for this 10-year period, if we did all of that in that mixed market rate affordable product, we'd have a total of 1,700 units, more than that. So we're able to manage it in a way where it's less than a third of that, while meeting the state compliance requirements and preserving immunity and the city's zoning moving forward.
Well, thank you.
And Council President, there was a comment about the notices that were sent out. They were all sent out by the city in accordance with the law.
Yeah. And we are dealing with a law with very tight deadlines, and we have to meet those deadlines.
Correct.
Well, I'm going to close the hearing on that ordinance, and then we can move on to ordinances for final consideration. So, Madam Clerk, going back to the beginning, would you please read the title for, I've got to get back to the top of my list, the title for ordinance 26-3366.
An ordinance authorizing the permanent closure of the Chestnut Lot.
Okay.
Thank you, Council President. This is ordinance ID 26-3366, and it authorizes the permanent closure of the Chestnut parking lot. Having closed this hearing on this ordinance moments ago, I move this ordinance for final adoption.
So moved.
Thank you. Roll call?
Mr. Boyer?
Aye.
Mr. Christofoli?
Aye.
Ms. Kalmanson?
Aye.
Ms. Landman?
Aye.
Ms. Saracina?
Aye.
Mr. Pulowski?
Aye.
President Toth.
Aye. Thank you. Madam Clerk, would you please read the title for ordinance 26-3367?
An ordinance amending the code of the City of Summit to create Chapter 9 entitled Registration and Maintenance of Vacant, Abandoned, and Foreclosed Properties.
Thank you. Councilmember Christofoli.
Thank you, Council President. For ordinance 26-3367, having closed the hearing on this ordinance just moments ago, I move this ordinance for final adoption.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Boyer?
Aye.
Mr. Crisafulli?
Aye.
Ms. Calmonson?
Aye.
Ms. Landman?
Aye.
Ms. Saracena?
Aye.
Mr. Pulaski?
Aye.
President Toth.
Aye. Thank you. City Clerk, please read the title of Ordinance 26-3368.
An ordinance of the City of Summit, County of Union, New Jersey, repealing Chapter 8, Affordable Housing, in its entirety, and repealing and replacing Chapter 35, Part 4, Article 17 through 19, Affordable Housing.
Thank you. Councilmember Crisafulli.
Thank you, Council President. For Ordinance 26-3368, having closed the hearing on this ordinance just moments ago, I move this ordinance for final adoption.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Boyer?
Aye.
Mr. Crisafulli?
Aye.
Ms. Calmonson?
Aye.
Ms. Landman?
Aye.
Ms. Saracena?
Aye.
Mr. Pulaski?
Aye.
President Toth.
Aye. Thank you. Madam Clerk, please read the title for Ordinance 26-3369.
Ordinance of the City of Summit, County of Union, New Jersey, amending Chapter 35 Development Regulations by amending the existing OL1 and OL4 overlay zones, creating new OL2A and OL2B overlay zones to replace the existing OL2 zone, and amending overlay zones OL1 through OL6 to increase the required minimum affordable housing set-asides to 20% to address a portion of the city's affordable housing obligations.
Thank you. Councilmember Crisafulli.
Thank you, Council President. For Ordinance 26-3369, having closed the hearing on this ordinance just moments ago, I move this ordinance for final adoption.
Second.
Thank you. May we have the roll call?
Mr. Boyer?
Aye.
Mr. Crisafulli?
Aye.
Ms. Calmonson?
Aye.
Ms. Landman?
Aye.
Ms. Saracena?
Aye.
Mr. Pulaski?
Aye.
President Toth.
Aye. Moving along, Madam Clerk, would you please read the title for Ordinance 26-3370?
Ordinance of the City of Summit, County of Union, New Jersey, amending Chapter 35 Development Regulations by creating a new AH1 Affordable Housing 1 zone to facilitate mixed-use development of Block 4008, Lots 8, 9, and 11.
Thank you. Councilmember Crisafulli.
Thank you, Council President. For Ordinance 26-3370, having closed the hearing on this ordinance just moments ago, I move this ordinance for final adoption.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Boyer?
Aye.
Mr. Crisafulli?
Aye.
Ms. Calmonson?
Aye.
Ms. Landman?
Aye.
Ms. Saracena?
Aye.
Mr. Pulaski?
Aye.
President Toth.
Aye. Let's move on to Ordinance 26-3371. Madam Clerk, would you read the title?
Ordinance of the City of Summit, County of Union, New Jersey, amending Chapter 35 Development Regulations by creating a new AH2 Affordable Housing 2 zone to facilitate 100% affordable senior housing development on Block 1911, Lot 5.
Thank you. Councilmember Crisafulli.
Thank you, Council President. For Ordinance 26-3371, having closed the hearing on this ordinance just moments ago, I move this ordinance for final adoption.
Second.
May we have the roll call, please?
Mr. Boyer?
Aye.
Mr. Crisafulli?
Aye.
Ms. Calmonson?
Aye.
Ms. Landman?
Aye.
Ms. Saracena?
Aye.
Mr. Pulaski?
Aye.
President Toth.
Aye. And finally, Madam Clerk, please read the title for Ordinance 26-3373.
This is not the final one, though. We
This-
have one
well-
more after that.
Oh,
It's okay.
Two more.
Yes. Yeah, we're on 72 right now.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I scrolled up too far.
That's okay.
Then please read the title for Ordinance 26-3372.
Ordinance of the City of Summit, County of Union, New Jersey, amending Chapter 35 Development Regulations by creating new AH3A and AH3B affordable housing zones to facilitate inclusionary development on Block 102, Lot 1, and Block 101, Lot 3.
Thank you. Councilmember Crisafulli.
Thank you, Council President. For Ordinance 26-3372, having closed the hearing on this ordinance just moments ago, I move this ordinance for final adoption.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Boyer?
Aye.
Mr. Crisafulli?
Aye.
Ms. Calmonson?
Aye.
Ms. Landman?
Aye.
Ms. Saracena?
Aye.
Mr. Pulaski?
Aye.
President Toth.
Aye. Okay, now, finally, Madam Clerk, please read the title for Ordinance 26-3373.
Ordinance of the City of Summit, County of Union, New Jersey, amending Chapter 35 Development Regulations by creating a new TH3 Townhouse 3 zone to promote inclusionary townhouse development on Block 3401, lots 7 through 20.
Thank you. Councilmember Crisafulli.
And thank you, Council President. For ordinance 26-3373, having closed the hearing on this ordinance just moments ago, I move this ordinance for final adoption.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Boyer?
Aye.
Mr. Crisafulli?
Aye.
Ms. Kalmanson?
Aye.
Ms. Landman?
Aye.
Ms. Saracina?
Aye.
Mr. Pulowski?
Aye.
President Toth.
Aye. Okay, thank you. We are going to move on to ordinances for introduction and let Councilmember Crisafulli rest his voice for just a little. Madam Clerk, would you please read ordinance ID 12411?
An ordinance amending the code, Chapter 7, Traffic, Section 7-8, Parking, subsection 7-8.4, stopping
me.
or standing.
Quiet, please. If you're leaving, please be quiet till you leave the chambers. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. I'll just repeat the subsection.
Thank you.
7-8.4, stopping or standing prohibited during certain hours on certain streets.
Thank you. Councilmember Pulowski.
Thank you. This is ordinance for introduction number 1241. The purpose of the ordinance is to amend our Chapter 7 Traffic, Section 7.8, to prohibit stopping or standing during certain hours on certain streets. The streets that are in question are Beekman Road between Oak Forest Lane and Oakley Ave. This has to do with safety of a street during school drop-offs, and there are a number of drop-offs and pickups that happen at Wilson School. Over the years, we've tried to put up some temporary no parking signs, and they have not always worked. We think this is a good measure to increase the safety there by putting up permanent no stopping or standing signs. So I move to introduce this ordinance.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
We'll do a roll call.
Oh, this is a roll call for
Roll call
introduction?
vote. Yes.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Oh, okay. Okay, then Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Mr. Boyer?
Aye.
Mr. Crisafulli?
Aye.
Ms. Kalmanson?
Aye.
Ms. Landman?
Aye.
Ms. Saracina?
Aye.
Mr. Pulowski?
Aye.
President Toth.
Aye. Moving on, Madam Clerk, would you please read ordinance ID 12420 for introduction?
An ordinance amending the code, Chapter 7, Traffic, Section 7-25, Regulations for the Movement and Parking of Traffic on Municipal Property and Board of Education Property, subsection 7-25.2, Municipal Parking Lot Areas.
Thank you. Councilmember Kalmanson.
Thank you, Council President. This is ordinance ID 12420, and it authorizes an increased daily parking rate in Park and Rail Lot number 14. The Park and Rail Lot located at the corner of Union Place and Summit Avenue is owned by New Jersey Transit and managed by the City of Summit. Under the existing agreement between NJ Transit and the city, all revenues generated from the lot are shared equally on a 50-50 split. This lot is primarily utilized by non-resident commuters as no permit is required to park. It also offers 24-hour parking for up to 5 days. The current daily rate is $13 per day. On January 20th, 2026, NJ Transit agreed to an increase to $20 per day. This rate increase reflects the lot's convenient location to the train platform and long-term parking allowance. With the hearing date of March 17th, I move to introduce this ordinance.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Boyer?
Aye.
Mr. Crisafulli?
Aye.
Ms. Kalmanson?
Aye.
Ms. Landman?
Aye.
Ms. Saracina?
Aye.
Mr. Pulowski?
Aye.
President Toth.
Aye. Thank you. And Madam Clerk, would you please read ordinance for introduction 12431?
Ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank.
Thank you. Councilmember Landman.
Thank you, Council President. Under New Jersey state law, municipalities can only increase their budgeted appropriations or spending by about 2.5% from the previous year. But the law also says that if the council passes an ordinance, the town can increase the budget by up to 3.5% instead. This type of ordinance is called a cost of living adjustment ordinance because it allows the budget to grow slightly more to keep up with rising costs like inflation. The law also says that if the city does not use the full 3.5% increase, this year we can bank it or save it, the unused amount, and use it in either of the next 2 years. With the hearing date of March 17th, I move to introduce this ordinance.
Second.
Thank you. May we have a roll call?
Mr. Boyer?
Aye.
Mr. Christopherson?
Aye.
Ms. Kalmanson?
Aye.
Ms. Landman?
Aye.
Ms. Saracena?
Aye.
Mr. Pulowski?
Aye.
President Toth.
Aye. Thank you. And the hearing for all of these ordinances will be March 17th. Let's move on to resolutions and go back to Councilmember Landman.
Thank you, Council President. Before I introduce the first resolution, I would like to announce that I will have a second resolution, which will come from the floor. But first, resolution number 12434 authorizes emergency temporary appropriations for the municipal operating budget, consistent with previous years and previous meetings this year, until we pass the 2026 budget on May 5th. The city is operating under a temporary municipal operating budget. The city needs to spend now on some items like salaries for city staff and day-to-day operating expenses. The only way to authorize this needed spending is via this resolution. We're required to call it an emergency, but it is standard operating procedure. I move to adopt this resolution by roll call vote.
Second.
Thank you. Do we have any comments from members of the public? Do we have any comments from council? Okay, I'll close this hearing. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Boyer?
Aye.
Mr. Christopherson?
Aye.
Ms. Kalmanson?
Aye.
Ms. Landman?
Aye.
Ms. Saracena?
Aye.
Mr. Pulowski?
Aye.
President Toth.
Aye. Back to you, Councilmember Landman.
Now to the resolution from the floor. After the agenda packet was posted on the city website, we learned that our deputy city clerk has accepted another employment opportunity outside of Summit. We would like to declare the seat vacant, and will work to fill this seat, this very important seat. A copy of the resolution, which is marked as, quote, pending closed session discussion, was posted this morning on the city website as a separate addendum to the packet pursuant to the council rules. I move to adopt this resolution.
Second.
Do we have any comments from members of the public? Any comments from members of council?
Council President.
Yes, please, Councilmember Boyer.
I just want to, we're losing a amazing employee. I hope they're still going to be living in Summit. I think so. But I just want to wish Nicole Cortiga a wonderful career outside of Summit. She was just amazingly helpful during my 2 years here, not knowing what to do, and still today, not knowing what to do. So she probably won't miss me that much. But Nicole is just the sweetest person. She represents everything that is right with our Summit employees. She is the perfect example of courtesy, politeness, and going above and beyond. We're really going to truly miss her.
Hear, hear.
Yes. Any other comments? Councilmember Christopherson.
Council President, I may add that her success is, I believe, in great part also due to being mentored by our top quality clerk. And I think it's a tribute to her
It's true.
leadership as well.
Yes.
I've done like 3 times. I gotta stop training them.
Yeah. Anyone else? Yeah, I was Mayor.
Sorry. I just want to echo what was said, and Rosie, you have to stop doing such a good job.
I'll try.
Well, yeah, I will add that our loss is Garwood's gain. She's going to be the head clerk in Garwood, and any of us who ever managed people know how your stomach drops when a terrific employee says they're moving on, but the way to get good people to work for you is to have good things happen to the people who do. So, good for you. I'm going to declare this hearing closed, and all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution passes. Let's move on to law and labor.
Saracena.
Councilmember Saracena. I'm just losing track of
That's it.
which order, who does what. Go ahead.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Council President. Resolution 12429 relates to the city's defense of the Broad Street West redevelopment project litigation. Our law firm O'Toole Scribo is the city's special litigation counsel for this matter. In December of 2025, several of the plaintiffs' claims were dismissed with prejudice, which means that those plaintiffs cannot bring those same claims back before the court. So we now have a narrowed field of matters that can proceed. We have been pleased with the representation we've been receiving by Scribo, excuse me. We will continue to zealously defend the city's position, and this resolution, if adopted, will enable us to continue our relationship with this law firm by entering into a new professional services agreement. In 2026, the law firm estimates that defense costs will be between the range of $40,000 and $50,000 for the year at a blended hourly rate of $295 per hour. I move to adopt this resolution.
Second.
Any comments from members of the public? Comments from members of council?
Council President.
Yes, Councilmember Boyer.
I'm just curious, where are we at with how much this lawsuit is totaling now? Did it start in 2023? And then secondly, this is a good example of convincing my son to be a lawyer. $295 an hour is pretty nice. But Administrator Baldwin, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but do you have a range? Like where are we at? $1,500,000?
Oh, through you, Council President. No, we are nowhere near $1 million. We're not at $500,000 on that. I can't give you the exact number, but I want to say it's 100 and something.
Oh.
But I will get that number.
I'm sorry. Let's, well.
So this is getting into some details for which I
Yes,
recused
yes,
myself.
yes,
I
yes,
was
I'm
just going
sorry.
to abstain from
Yeah,
the vote, and
we'll
that's why I
call you
didn't
back.
second it.
We'll call you back, yes, I'm sorry. We're just going to let Councilmember Pulowski leave the room. Okay, please continue, Ms. Baldwin.
Thank you, Council President. As I said, it's in the 100 and something thousand, probably on the low end. I can get you all a number, maybe before we leave tonight if this all works. But I believe we started in 2023. I think that's right. Maybe it was 24. I'm a little sketchy, but I can tell you that number too as well.
Okay.
But I think so far it is well worth what we've invested for a potential good outcome, which is going well, as Councilwoman Laursen said.
And if I may, Council President, the blended hourly rate of $295 per hour, though it does shock the conscience for some, it does seem like a very high hourly rate. For the quality of the services that we're receiving, it's a very competitive rate that we've been offered.
Thank you. Okay. Then, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No.
If I may, Council President, I also just wanted to
Oh.
recognize Councilman Pulowski's departure. In abundance of caution, he has recused himself from being involved in discussions or decisions related to this matter because of some professional associations he has through the law firm that he works for. So that was why he excused himself, and we thank him for doing so. And I apologize that I didn't give you more of a heads up for that, Bob.
No, if it was just going to stick to the numbers, I was just going to abstain.
That's fine.
But you got into some more details. So.
No worries. Okay. Councilmember Crisafulli, you are not off the hook.
Well, like Eminem, I'm back. Resolution, my daughter would be very proud of that reference, by the way. Resolution 12439, to endorse the city's amended fourth-round housing element and fair share plan. This plan was the reason for many of the ordinances we have discussed and passed tonight. I move to adopt the resolution.
Second.
Do we have any comments from members of the public? Do we have any comments from members of council? Councilmember Saracena.
Thank you, Council President. I just want to acknowledge that it's a lengthy plan. It's several hundred pages. We know that there have been quick turns, right? It's only been a few months since the June 2025 adoption of this plan by our predecessors. People are still learning about it. It is evolving as we go. We understand that there are significant concerns throughout the community as well as questions. They are not falling on deaf ears. I know that may be cold comfort in this moment, but we do hear you. We are taking your questions. We are taking your concerns. They will be considered as part of the task force that Council President Toth mentioned. So we really appreciate you doing your part because you are helping us better understand how to implement the plan adopted by our predecessors to the best of our ability. So yeah, we do hear the very legitimate concerns. We have your questions, and we appreciate your participation in the process along with us.
Okay. Thank you. Councilmember Pulowski.
Thank you. So a number of people expressed their concerns about this plan and some of the ordinances that we had to adopt to go with it tonight. And this has been happening for a year now, probably. I share those concerns about density and safety and schools. I agree. And while I think affordable housing is a good thing, and I've spoken many times about Summit's history of creating and supporting affordable housing, I think the mandates sent down from Trenton are a bad thing. And everyone needs to understand that this council takes no joy in adopting this plan or the associated ordinances. I don't like that we have to do this. But given the hand that we were dealt by, I'm sorry, a supermajority of Democrats in Trenton, and I understand our new governor wants to fast-track development in this, the densest state of the union. It's just to the detriment of in many cases, of our local municipalities. But again, given the cards that we were dealt, I think this is a good plan overall. Our professionals talked about if we did it the traditional way, it would have us over 1,700 new units. Right now, we're around, I think Claire said, a maximum of 520-something, and that's, I believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that's just if people take advantage of every single overlay zone. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that, but I think it's a good plan, and under the circumstances that we were given. While I might not like the plan, under the circumstances, I think it's a very good one.
Any other comments? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Back to you, Councilmember Crisafulli.
Thank you, Council President. I want to make sure I'm getting my numbers straight here.
The second one.
Okay. Oh, this is, I've done a lot of this tonight. I'm getting a little mixed up, sorry. This is Resolution 12445 to adopt the city's fourth round Affordability Assistance Manual and Operating Manual. This updated manual reflects the city's revised housing element and fair share plan. I move to adopt the resolution.
Second.
Do we have any comments from members of the public? Do we have comments from members of council? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Back to you, Councilmember Crisafulli.
Thank you, Council President. Resolution 12443 is to adopt an amended fourth round Affordable Housing Trust Fund spending plan and requesting program and court approval of the spending plan. The Affordable Housing Trust Fund currently, as of the end of last year, had a balance of $2.4 million and is financed by development fees plus an anticipated $1 million contribution from Russo Development. I would note that the full amount of funding required to rehabilitate Summit Housing Authority facilities is not included in this plan and will require additional engagement with federal and state agencies to address. Nevertheless, I move to adopt the resolution as it is a required component of our affordable housing plan.
Second.
Do we have comments from members of the public? Any comments from members of council? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Councilmember Crisafulli.
Thank you, Council President. Resolution 12444 is to adopt an affirmative marketing plan under the city's revised housing element and fair share plan. This is to market the units that will be available. I move to adopt the resolution.
Second.
Any comments from members of the public? Any comments from council? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? I believe we're going to take a break from you and permit Councilmember Licatese to introduce the next resolution.
Thank you, Council President. The next resolution is ID 12442. This relates to a first amendment to the settlement agreement entered into with Russo Development LLC. As you may recall, as part of our fourth round affordable housing process, Russo Development brought a challenge. They were one of the challengers, one of three challengers opposing taking issue with the city's fourth round affordable housing plan. Through the process, the city was able to enter into a settlement agreement with Russo Development. We are now, and we are considering entering into a first amendment to that settlement agreement to alter some of the language with respect to the transfer of a parcel of land referred to as Shunpike from Russo to the city. There was a copy of the First Amendment draft that was included in the packet. As this situation is fast evolving, we are going to be editing slightly the language that was included in the packet. So, Council President, I would suggest that we change the language of the resolution to read, "The City of Summit hereby authorizes the mayor to execute the First Amendment to the settlement agreement with Russo Development LLC, comma," and here's where the change language comes in, "which is in a form substantially similar to that attached hereto as Exhibit A and acceptable to the city's affordable housing professionals." With that change, I move to adopt this resolution.
Second.
Okay, do we have any comments from members of the public?
Diego Hoyk, Argyle Court. I was debating whether or not to address Councilman Palowski's highly partisan rhetoric from a moment ago, but I'll ignore that for now. Except to say that a lot of municipalities, Republican and Democratic controlled, did not have as bad a situation as Summit. But we'll leave that there. Happy to debate you about that. I have a question that was probably better suited for 12-443, but I got confused as to what ordinance was being discussed. So Russo is contributing $1 million, I think, to our affordable housing trust fund. And we're also committing to improving a lot of our existing infrastructure. Buildings that were built before 1980 that were included in our plan, even though buildings prior to 1980 had never been included in Mount Laurel type buildings. So I have and so when this came up a couple of weeks ago, I think it was Ms. Holm who mentioned that generally municipalities are able to get all sorts of grants to rehabilitate buildings. Now, I am not a lawyer, but I'm in business, and in business, you do things. The first thing is you establish the size of the liability, the size of the hole, if you wish, and then you start figuring out how you're going to cover it up. You don't just kind of paper over, oh, usually you can get some grants. So we're getting $1 million from Russo. What is the actual size of the liability that Summit is on the hook for rehabilitation of the Vito Gallo building, Glenwood, and Weaver? Total all in. Because it cannot be $1 million. It's probably closer to 10 to 15, perhaps even $20 million. If you look at the number of units, the age, and the fact we have to bring them up to 2025 standards so they can actually be included into our plan. We can then discuss how the liability is going to be paid for, but we, the taxpayers, we need to understand what is the size of the hole that is being created in this plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Do we have comments from members of council?
Council President.
Yes, Councilmember Blair.
Nancy, I recall you saying at one point that the units at Weaver, Vita Gallo, and Glenwood, at one point we thought that they had to be redeveloped or had to be brand new, right? But that's not our understanding anymore. Like that they have to be brand
Yeah,
gut units, right? Yeah.
Right, yeah, the initial, the initial argument from Fair Share Housing Center was that they would be gut rehabbed, as in move everyone out, tear it down to the studs and start over again. And with the cooperation of Summit Housing Authority and showing us what needs to be done, I believe it's at Glenwood, I might have it confused with Weaver, I don't remember which study, it was at Glenwood? Yeah. Showing the improvements at Glenwood, it was shown that gut rehab is not needed for those units, but a significant amount of money does need to go into those units. The total liability for the city is $1 million lump sum payment and $180,000 per year, up to 2035. So from next year through 2035 will be an annual payment from the city's trust fund.
And that is all coming out of the Affordable Housing Trust Fund?
From the trust fund, yes.
Okay.
And then there is a requirement that if the housing authority is not successful in obtaining grants from the state or from the federal government, that the city could be on the hook for a $5 million either through bonding or some other funding source. I have been in contact with the HMFA, with the Housing Mortgage and Finance Agency, which does issue tax credits and other funding sources, and they routinely grant tax credit applications to housing authorities across the state, and they're willing to work with the Summit Housing Authority to leverage those funds. And the main criteria is to be in a court-approved affordable housing plan in order to leverage those funds.
Exactly. So and we've went over this so many times, but I'll play it back for just 1 second. But without these developments, 195 units in our fair share housing plan, if there was $10 million or $10 million grant from the state of New Jersey, they wouldn't even be able to get it. They would have to be in our fair share housing plan. So what we have is a huge pothole already that we're filling up, right? I mean, this is the essence of affordable housing, which is to improve the quality of life for individuals living in 195 units. It's like 300 people. That's outstanding. I mean, the city has done an amazing job when you look at it. It directly impacts 300 people, not 10 years from now, not 5 years from now, like right now, we're working on it. And I can't wait to get in a working group with Jacqueline and Augusto, because what the Summit Housing Authority hasn't had for decades were professionals to go out to write grants and to get money and everything. So this is a different situation. And we look forward to doing that. So I just wanted to make a couple of points. Thank you.
Well, thank you. We are talking about the Russo amendment.
Yes.
Just to be
Sorry.
clear, do we have any other council comments about the Russo amendment?
I am too, actually. I was talking about Russo.
I'm sure.
I was.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, back to you, Councilmember Crisafulli, for resolution number 6.
Thank you, Council President. Resolution 121441 authorizes the mayor to execute an affordable housing agreement with Our House as part of Summit's Fair Share Plan. I move to adopt the resolution.
Second.
Do we have any comments from members of the public? Okay. Do we have any comments from members of council? Yes, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. I just want to note that for the people who know Andy Anderson, he's the actual mayor of Summit, and this is intended to directly affect his quality of life and a couple of the other residents that live near and with him. So this is a little bit of a passion project for me, being an adopted Summitite, so I just want to make mention that I think this is a really cool opportunity for Summit to support Summit.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Councilmember Crisafulli.
Thank you, Council President. Resolution 12440 authorizes the mayor to execute an agreement with Summit Housing Authority as part of Summit's Fair Share Plan. I move to adopt the resolution.
Second.
Do we have any comments from members of the public? Do we have any comments from members of council? Do you want to say it again, Councilmember Boyer?
Already did it with Russo,
I know.
right? With $1 million, so I connected the two, you know, hey.
Okay, thank you.
I did want to add, just,
Sure.
I did say in the planning board, to some of the planning board members after the meeting, I have 20 towns across the state, and this is my favorite mechanism that I have in any of my plans. And I think it's really, it's as the mayor said about our house, I completely agree with her, but this is also a passion project of mine, and I think this is going to be a wonderful thing for the residents of Summit and the Summit Housing Authority.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, Councilmember Crisafulli.
Thank you, Council President.
Ooh, and it's not about affordable housing.
Closer to my world, the environment. Resolution 12416 declares a vacancy of a shade tree unit maintenance worker at the Department of Public Works. I move to adopt the resolution.
Second.
Do we have any comments from members of the public? Any comments from members of council? No, I will just note, I've recently been informed, we think shade tree, but it's really, these folks maintain all of our parks and a lot of our public spaces. So it's more than just, trimming our trees. These are important people. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Councilmember Crisafulli.
Thank you, Council President. And due to my absence from the part of the closed session, I don't know the name of the person here, but I will say resolution.
Should we pass it on to Councilmember Kalmanson then?
This is resolution 12430 to appoint a member of the Summit Free Market Steering Committee as per the closed session discussion.
Yes, and per closed session, Lori Ruffolo will be appointed to the Summit Free Market. I move to adopt this resolution. Can we split like that?
Second.
Do we have any comments from members of the public? Do we have any comments from members of council? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, one more, Councilmember Crisafulli.
Thank you, Council President. And my last but not least, resolution 12436 appoints the co-chairs of the Summit Economic Development Advisory Committee per closed session discussion. Joining Al Leiter as co-chair is Brandon Sternberg. I move to adopt the resolution.
Except that, are we also appointing a member to the?
I was just going to ask, can we add that in at this point? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Okay. And in the closed session, we also agreed to add
Antonietta Lavecchia.
Antonietta Lavecchia
Yeah.
to Summit's Economic Development Advisory Committee. I move to adopt the resolution.
Second.
Do we have any comments from members of the public? Comments from council? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Do any members of the public wish to comment on the consent agenda? Members of council? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, consent agenda passes. Yay. Bear with me. I printed out the wrong script tonight. So we're on to public comments, and as we begin, we'd like to ask that the residents of Summit step forward to speak first. We value input from everyone, and of course, any member of the public is welcome to speak. Oh, yes, sorry. City employees, you are, and professionals, you are welcome to go home and for a well-deserved rest. Thank you for your assistance.
And thank you for a good job. This has been like a huge process. I know y'all getting paid, but it's still a lot of work though, so thank you.
Yes. And we are officially in compliance with round 4. Yay.
Getting there.
Okay. In any event, public comment, we prefer that ask that residents get to speak first. We certainly value input from everyone, and any member of the public's welcome to speak, but we ask for your courtesy in allowing our local neighbors to lead the public discussion. So is there anyone from the public, any residents who would like to make a comment? Mr. Hoyk.
Diego Hoyk, Argyle Court. Quick thing. So some days ago, the Supreme Court of the United States declared a certain number of tariffs unconstitutional, which means that all the money had been collected for the past year from residents in the United States, including our 23,000 residents, was illegally obtained, and which means, per their own admission, that the federal government at some point should be sending us a check. Now, about 4 weeks ago, Councilman Boyer made a comment about how this time for sure Representative Kane was going to bring us the money for Glenside, that we didn't get last year. Now that's about $500,000. We have about 8,000 households in Summit. It's about $1,700 per household per some congressional estimates. That adds up to about $10 million. So it's great that Congressman Kane is bringing us 5% of the money that the federal government took away from Summit residents. But before we go and celebrate, maybe we should look for the remaining amount. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to make a comment? Please.
Hi, Amy Roth. Do you want my address and all that?
You can give us your street.
Just, can you speak in?
Locust Drive.
Can you speak into the microphone?
Court.
Ma'am?
Yeah, adjust the microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
I was in the meeting last week, and a few of you recognized me about the parking show. And I did speak to Nicole, and she said that there's going to be a group of a few people discussing the possibilities, and everyone was really positive last week and very much appreciated to try to work on something for the Manley Court residents and the parking situation. We get a lot of tickets, daytime, nighttime. There are 2, for those who aren't that familiar, 2-hour parking, and it's really a challenge and an issue. And so we're going to try to work on to see what we can do for the residents. But for my request tonight is it possible, until we rectify the situation, that some type of hold can be put on ticketing until we do? On the streets that Locust, George, New England, and Springfield Avenue, where it's pretty much a daily thing. We go out and we say, oh, that one got a ticket, that one. Can we suspend that? The parking department who are giving the tickets, the police who do, I think they do the night ones, the police. So suspend it until we can kind of figure out what to do and how to work through this issue.
Thank you. Yeah.
Can I get a response?
Were we going to respond after all of public comment?
Yeah,
or now?
typically we respond at the end.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Henry Bassman, 18 Hartley Road. I'd like to depart for a moment from politics and talk about something that affects many of our neighbors. Saturday, 3 days ago, our country went to war. Whether it lasts for days or weeks, months or years, there are men and women in Summit serving in the armed forces now. There are also men and women in Summit serving in the National Guard and Reserve. The families of all of these people are concerned. They're under stress. And I would only ask that a little sympathy, a little support, it'd be very welcome, because only 6% of our entire population is either veteran or military service. And that means that people are isolated. There's another aspect. Veterans who served, particularly those who served in wartime, when these kinds of events occur, memories are reignited. When they see things blown up and people harmed, rubble, it stimulates emotions, and please be sensitive to that. I happen to be affiliated with an organization called Vets for Warriors. Vets, number 4, Warriors. Vetsforwarriors.com on the internet. It's a 24-hour-a-day, 365-day a year in-call service or chat for active duty military, veterans, National Guard reserves, and their families, because families often need support or have questions. The number to call is 855-838-8255. If you know somebody who's in distress, please give them the number or reach out to me, and I'll be happy to try and help people get directed to the right place. I think it's very important. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other comments from the public? Comments from council?
We have-
Oh, I'm sorry, Carol. Take your time.
Dr. Carol Pack-Tang, 234 Summit Avenue. So I wasn't able to come here and speak these comments just after at the last meeting due to it being Lunar New Year. Due to it being Lunar New Year. But there was an article shared in Tap Into Summit about my comments to Common Council about concerns around ICE. I just want to read from the article. Her warning proved prophetic when just over a week later, federal agents from U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, arrested a Summit resident, leaving neighbors unsettled as details about the arrest remain unclear. I want to make it clear, it wasn't prophetic, because that was already happening to our residents here in Summit. I was speaking to the fact that this was already happening and people were already scared, and I don't want to get credit for being somehow a predictor of something that was already happening. And I really want to keep continuing to come here and say that, I really urge both the mayor and all of council to continue to be vocal about this issue, because the people in Summit are scared. They continue to be harassed increasingly. I went to a rally this past weekend in Roxbury where they have purchased a very large warehouse to put people in. a jail. Their motto is if you build it, then you fill it. This is going to continue to affect our families that come and work here. It's going to continue to affect our families that live here in town. And the fear is not decreasing. And so I really urge all of you to continue to keep this top of mind, because our Summit residents are increasingly scared to go out to public spaces. They are increasingly scared to seek medical care. They are increasingly scared to send their children to school. The children are increasingly scared to go to school because they are afraid that they will come home to find a missing parent that doesn't come back from work. And so please, I urge you all to do what you can to support the community. We have a lot of amazing nonprofits in town that are doing the work to provide services, but I really would love to see that come from the town council and from the mayor as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Comments from council, and I'm going to ask you to kick it off. Councilmember Comments.
Thank you, Council President. Thank you, Ms. Roth, for coming. Appreciate talking to you, speaking to you the other night, and hearing all your challenges. We were all really sympathetic to some of the issues that are going on over at Manley Court. I spoke to our Director of Parking Services, Nicole, just for a few minutes the other day, and we will be discussing this in our meeting this week, continuing to brainstorm. But there are some challenges around. It can't be, so one of the challenges was it's two-hour parking. So if during the day. So if you can't allow some people to park over 2 hours and not everyone, because the ordinance is for 2 hours, right? So it can't be only Manley Court residents can park here all day and everybody else can only park here 2 hours a day. So that was one of the challenges that we ran into. We want to continue to brainstorm as far as overnight street parking. If somebody's getting a parking ticket overnight, I believe that would be because they don't have the proper overnight permit. I'm not sure if people would be getting tickets for anything else, but that's something. If you are parking on the street overnight, you do need to have the permit. Regarding putting a hold on ticketing, because that's done by ordinance. I don't know if that's feasible. Is that does anybody? I don't think that's something we could feasibly do.
To do what? I'm sorry.
Ms. Roth was asking, okay.
To suspend ticketing? Yeah.
For, I don't, yeah, okay. So I don't think, I'm sorry, the answer is no, we can't do that. But we're going to try to brainstorm a little more in our meeting on Thursday, and we'll definitely keep you in the loop and get more information from you and see what we can do to try to help you and the other residents in the apartment complex. And please, you have my email, so please continue to reach out to me. Okay.
But you did start by saying the 2-hour parking is an issue, and that's really
Probably don't want the back.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We can't do the back and forth at a council meeting. Urge you to speak with Councilmember Comments separately.
I will, yeah, if I could just expand on that a little bit. I know we don't usually do the back and forth, but it's something that came up. If we took away the 2-hour, parking, people could park there all day, and then anybody could park there all day. People could park there all day and go to the train, which I think would be like a worse situation, right? Because then you might not be able to get a space out there at all. So that was just one of the things. But we can continue this dialogue if over email or over the phone. Okay, thank you.
Can I just respond that
Let's please take this out of chambers. I'm sorry, I don't want to appear cold-hearted, but we're governed by Robert's Rules of Orders, and we've got to follow them. Do I have comments from other members of council? Councilmember Pulowski.
So a few minutes ago, I made a statement which is repetitive of statements that I've made in the past about the affordable housing legislation and why we're in the position that we are. So to respond to my friend Diego, my statement was not highly partisan. The facts are highly partisan. Why are we doing all of this with regards to affordable housing? Why do we have to do it so fast? It's because a supermajority of Democrats in Trenton passed new legislation mandating it. How many Republicans voted for it? A few in the Assembly and none in the Senate is my understanding. So I ask everybody again, please encourage our current state representatives to give us some relief. Nancy Munoz and Michelle Matsakudis fought the good fight for years, and they're Republicans, I'm sorry. They tried, they lost in the last election. So, and if affordable housing and overdevelopment is a top priority, think hard when you vote for our state legislatures in 2 years.
Council President.
No. Councilmember Landman.
Thank you, Council President. So one of my roles on council is also to be a member of the Board of School Estimate.
Quiet, please. Yes.
So I'd like to, in that context, share a quick update on the Summit Public School budget. Quickly first, the Board of Education, which is appointed by the mayor, develops a draft budget, and starting in the late fall, working with the schools and department heads to put those requests together. Over the winter, the Board of Ed Operations Committee and the superintendent review and make changes. And then in late February or March, we get information from the state about how much state aid we will receive. And once we get that state aid information, the draft budget's then presented to the Board of School Estimate, which consists of 2 members of the Board of Ed, 2 members of council, which this year is me and Councilmember Licatese, and the mayor. And then we will review and certify that tentative budget, which results in a tax levy. So that's our role in the Board of School Estimate, is to ensure that we approve the tax levy that go to residents as a result. And as a reminder, about 50% of our taxes go to our schools, so it's an important process. One change that's happening for this year from what may have been communicated earlier, the governor is not releasing the state aid information until after her address on March 10th. So originally, this information was going to be presented on March 5th, but we've had to push that back to March 18th due to that change. This is not unique to Summit. This is statewide. And I will say that the Board of Ed website has been updated with this new date, but I just wanted to call attention to it tonight since it's such an important meeting for residents. I also want to just encourage people to attend the meeting. So again, it's March 18th at 6:30 at Summit High School. If you can't attend, you can also email our public school leaders with your thoughts around the district's spending priorities. Then quickly on the municipal budget, with respect to the 2026 capital budget, as mentioned, we went back to our department heads and asked them to make some adjustments to their original ask. So for those of you who attended the December budget presentation, you will have seen that initial asks came in over $7 million. We have reduced those to about $5.4 million at this point. And again, we are focused on critical needs for this year and deferring our nice-to-haves into future years. Right now, the remaining members of council who are not on the Finance Committee are reviewing the current capital budget proposal. And then I just also want to call out, and I know this has come up before, but as it relates to the budget, this winter has been especially challenging with 3 major storms over the weekend. That's costing us as taxpayers a lot more money because we have to pay overtime for our DPW and other workers who are critical to service the city during those snowstorms. So just right now, with the 3 storms, we've already had to adjust the overtime budget by $170,000 for the storms we've already experienced this year. So I just wanted to give the residents a heads up, and that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Council President.
Yes. Councilmember Boyer.
I already went, so I can't double dip yet.
Yeah, no double dipping, Bob. First, I know we're talking about the budget, and I know this has come up before, And Chief Peters is smiling, right? He won't be smiling after I say this. Have we ever looked into salary increases for our crossing guards? I mean, they are out there in the rain and the snow. I mean, last year, I mean, one crossing guard had like a box of Joe, right? I felt so bad I pulled over. We were like having hot chocolate together. I'm just like, how do you do it? But I think we have to take care of our crossing guards. I know several of them have asked. The problem is the duration of time that they work is much shorter than, I wouldn't say much shorter, but it's a couple hours shorter than most towns. And some towns are private. So when our crossing guards make $50 a day, a town like Milburn, they work a little longer, they make $80, right? So we are competitive in our hourly rate of what we pay, but we're not competitive in the duration of time that they're out there. So I think that's something that we should think about. Most of these people are retired. They lived in Summit for 40, 50 years. I mean, this is the bread and butter of our town. So if I know we're under a tight grip with money, but you know what? We're under a tight grip with money every year. That ain't never going to change. There ain't never going to be a good year where we have a surplus of cash and can pay people more money. It's not happening. So I want this council to think about that. And listen, the residents, I know you all, some of you see the same crossing guards every morning. If you feel as though that need a raise, you know, tell the council, right? Because I think my crossing guard needs a raise, so I'm going to advocate for that. Lastly, you know, I just want to talk about affordable housing. The one thing that I constantly keep talking about that would have made this process much better is if it was transparent. The fact that you got to build 500 new affordable housing units, all right, fine, we could figure that out, but let's figure it out as a community. So open the books. Let's start from day one. Problem is, since this is a judicial proceedings, everything is like a gag order. The legislature has made it such that we can't say anything. And if we do tip our hand, that could come back to bite the city. And there's a bunch of different things. I know, you know, we've all heard of the immunity, losing immunity. We all know about that. But I just wanted to point that out. This council, the past council, was giving a huge, timely thing to do, right? And if you look at that 700-page paper, it's done in like 6 months because we had to do it in 6 months. That was a great deal of work. And, you know, I hear all the time on Facebook and other people saying the bad deal, the horrible deal. No, it's not. I hate to remind you, but, and you probably don't want to hear this, but Broad Street West was a bad deal, right? I don't see any pilots in here. I see 195 units being restored. I see the city getting $1 million to help build more affordable housing. But I don't see us losing any tax revenue every year. Actually, as a matter of fact, I see us generating tax revenue from the properties that I see. And to be honest, we avoided overdevelopment. This was a really smart plan. And maybe it's not appreciated right now, but 10 years from now, the council's going to look back and say, man, how did they pull that off? Because that's what we said about the last council. So embrace it. You know, we manage it as best as possible, but this is a Trenton thing, and it's not gonna end. The Reverend Harriel came up 2 weeks ago and asked a great question, which I didn't think about before. Shame on me. But when is the end date? When does it end? It doesn't end. It just keeps going, right? So we all have to consider that. Last but not least, we're moving forward with the park line. I provided that information a couple weeks ago. I know the chief and probably the police will let you know when they're removing the bridges. So I'm very excited about that. Had our first rent commission meeting yesterday. Went really well. I am excited about the potential partnership between the Summit Rent Commission and the Summit Housing Authority. It's going to be a great thing to have our residents be involved in that process and be arbitrary, right? So that there's not one person making the decisions to evict people. So it goes to the community of these smart people to help move this process along. And that is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Council President.
Yes, Councilmember Saraceno.
Thank you, Council President. Put myself on the clock here. I first, on the municipal budget, just want to commend City Administrator Baldwin, our Director of Finance, Jennifer Kobliska, and Finance Chair, Councilwoman Landman. They've led an excellent process in developing the municipal budget to ensure that we are honoring our obligation to be excellent stewards of the taxpayer funds. And as Councilwoman Landman said, to prioritize needs over wants, and this year in particular, and we have some significant headwinds that we are facing in the municipal budget. So look forward to advancing that along. On affordable housing, in brief, I will reserve my own comment about the plan that this council is charged with administering. But I will reiterate that the legitimate concerns and questions that we are hearing from our neighbors across town, again, are not falling on deaf ears. So we appreciate you bringing those forward, and we will certainly take them into account as we are working in these early stages to implement the plan that was adopted by the prior council. And then I would hope that it goes without saying, but regardless of what may have happened in Trenton, for Summit, the buck stops here, right? We are accountable to the community to do our very best to implement the plan that has been adopted, and that is what we're going to do. Last month, we celebrated Kindness Month in February. The last week was my most favorite week. It was to thank a teacher. At the last Board of Ed meeting, our wonderful National Merit Scholars at the high school shared a treasured book and a note of gratitude with a special teacher. It's a beautiful tradition in Summit. This week, several of us had the opportunity to read in classrooms as we celebrated Read Across America Week. I read Founding Mothers, a book by Cokie Roberts with a 5th grade class at Franklin, and we learned about remarkable women like Phyllis Wheatley and Mercy Otis Warren, who contributed to the founding of our nation. It is a joy to be in our public schools in Summit. There are so many wonderful things going on. Summit is an education town, and we will continue to invest in the excellence of our public education program and the success of our students. We are also now in March celebrating Employee Appreciation Month. More information will come, but if you would like to share a note of gratitude with a particular member of our wonderful city staff or a team, even if you don't know their name, we will route it. You can email me, Jayla Saracena, at cityofsummit.org, and again, more information will be shared about this. But we encourage everyone to share notes of thanks with our wonderful city staff, because they really help ensure that Summit stays strong and gets even better. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else?
I forgot my feel-good comments.
Oh, I'm looking forward to those.
So I went twice to see Big Fish at the high school. It was the spring production. So good, such a good story, and these kids do such a great job. I think that's the last show for the year, although maybe the middle school is going to have one. But I really encourage everybody to go out there. It was a fairly full house both nights when I went. But if you don't take advantage of this at some point in time, you're really missing out. So I don't know what they're going to put on in the fall. I'd love to see Much Ado About Nothing, but they did Shakespeare last year. So I attended the Chinese American Youth Club, and I might not have that exactly right, their art show at the library this weekend, which was awesome. And I think we're going to have some more art to display on the way in here. I gave them that option. read across America. I went to Franklin also and sat with some fifth graders who, we didn't actually read anything. We just had a Q&A about government at all levels. And one little boy asked me, how old do you have to be on the zoning board and how do I apply? So we have some interested kids out there. So those are my feel-goods. And then on the crossing guards, could we offer additional hours at Union Place and Summit Ave? I think we could maybe use them there. So maybe that's a way to help those folks out. And I swear that's it.
Okay. Thank you, Councilmember Pulaski. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Well done. Good night, everybody.